We're good.
We're good. All right. Let's go, Beard.
Is this up? Are
This is
we?
us.
This is
Yeah,
it.
this is it. This is it.
We are live.
We are
Check it
here.
out. Well, boys, welcome. This is your first step into fame. I hope you're ready for this. This is the moment. Our futures begin, and we become famous. People are going to start recognizing you guys in the streets. Just hope you know. So everybody out there, thanks for tuning in, whether that's live or whether that's after the fact somewhere. We're going to be on everything, whether that's YouTube or if you're listening on audio podcast. This is us. We are the Tower Talk Show. I'm the host. I'm Beard. You guys can call me Beard.
Are you introducing us or are we introducing ourselves?
This is embarrassing. I have no idea. What's the freaking... Did we even have a plan here? I don't... Not So Gamer went silent for a second, but yeah, let's go round robin. Former Guardian, why don't you take it off?
I am former Guardian. Hello.
And I am Not So Gamer. Hello. So you can always find my streams here, guys. So we're good. Honestly, first of all, I forgot to hit the audio stuff on, so they probably missed the first minute or so, Beard. So can you repeat everything you just said again?
It's not a podcast without audio issues.
Without some error, yeah. I mean, come on, you can't have an. But
it's not 2020 without an error.
This is true.
Let's be real. With the entire world ending.
Dude, 2020, everything's all crazy. But yeah. Okay, everybody's saying they can hear us now, so we're good.
Sweet tune. Well, let's post production. We'll cut everything that just happened, and we'll start right here. We are the Tower Talk Show. This is our little show here. We're live. We're going to be up on podcasts and up on wherever you get your podcasts and YouTube after the fact as well. So thank you for tuning in. Whether that's live or like I said, after the fact. My name is Beard, and we'll kind of go around and introduce ourselves.
Well, obviously, you guys already know me, Not So Gamer. What up?
The man, the myth, the legend, the reason the podcast started. We'll give all the credit to Sir.
You guys can just call him Dad if you want.
And I'm former Guardian.
And he's D1 veteran.
I am
me and Beard kind of joined later on, but former Guardian is D1 veteran from the start.
The one.
So you guys can call him Grandpa because he's been.
Yeah, we are the son, the father, and never mind. I should probably stop right there.
So here we are. We're piggybacking off of Not So Gamer's stream here just to kind of get ourselves kickstarted. And so definitely thank you, Not So Gamer, for getting us up and running. Starting next week, we will be streaming live from our Facebook page and Twitch as well, our Twitch. So we'll have everything set up from our home pages, and we'll share how to get a hold of us and how you can find us in a bit here. But yeah, this is, I mean, obviously, like you can probably tell from the title, the Tower Talk Show. We are here because we love playing Destiny. We have lots of shared interests, whether that's, I don't know, tech stuff, Star Wars. I don't know. We're friends in real life. Stuff. Nerdy stuff. It is so embarrassing how nerdy we are, and we love it. And so we've kind of we've come together for a couple different reasons. Honestly, the main point being we love Destiny, and we have probably each logged countless hours of just running around the tower, doing the Floor is Lava challenge, just chatting about everything, whether that's the game or life or stuff that we have going on. And so we figured, hey, you know what? We've had good, constructive conversations personally as well as in game. And so we thought, might as well bring that all together, kind of just onto this platform here and share it with everybody. So that's why we're here.
Yeah, I think Destiny 2, or I guess Bungie more, tends to kind of get the short end of the stick a lot of times with the community, and not necessarily just pure negativity, but I think there's always a lot of criticism that comes around, and I think it stems from that people really do care about the game just like we do, and people try to make constructive criticism, but I think at the end of the day, the game is very fun. And, a lot of people complaining about the game, yet there's still just how many hundreds of thousands of people that connect every single day. I think that is the base of a lot of our conversations just amongst friends and talking about the game. And as changes and things come about, I think we tend to try and look at the positive side of it, although there may be frustrations and, I really wish things would be this way. I think that comes from we want the game to be even better than it is, but at the end of the day, it is a really fun and entertaining and an engaging game that we enjoy so much that even outside of playing it, we carry on conversations endlessly. And so we got to the point where we said, this is something that we want to also promote and let other people, whether it's people who actually play the game or involved in it, or people are curious and interesting kind of what goes on with the game, and is it something you want to dive into, because it's pretty investing. I mean, it's an RPG based game that it's a looter shooter. You gotta go out and collect a bunch of stuff and go through quests and all that, and so it can be time consuming. I think that's essentially why it's almost the only game that any of us play for the most part, because if you're gonna spend the time playing it, it's hard to kind of dedicate time to other stuff. And so just kind of have an outlet to kind of share some of those thoughts and open up that dialogue with people and give announcements as far as what is happening in the world, because it is an evolving game and a lot of things change over it. So really just excited to...
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like that's what ties us together, like just the being able to play and things like that. I know Destiny can be like in a crazy hole right now with people complaining about certain things, and not to get into too much detail, but like things like cheatings and things like DDoSing and things like, is there enough content if there's not enough content? But no matter what, I think at the end of the day, we come back to Destiny because there's still content to play. It's still a lot of fun to come back to and look into. And that's pretty much why we kind of started this thing, because like there's still way more to talk about. There's still a lot of stuff going on with Destiny. Like hell, we even had a whole show about it a few like a month ago now, right? With Luke Smith and everything, kind of like giving us the future of Destiny. So like the future, there's a huge future still in here. So that's why we wanted to start this, because no matter how much we complain about Destiny and how much we like, at times it can be that love and hate relationship, we still come back, and we still come back and play because it's a super fun game.
Well, that's just the thing is it's a video game, right? Like, and we don't have our hands there in the pie, so to say, as far as like developing it, and we don't, none of us work at Bungie. Like we're just consumers at this point. We play this game because we love it, and obviously it can't be perfect. And throughout kind of into the future over the next weeks and everything, as we're developing our show and our podcast and growing, we'll talk more about the things that we love and the things that we hate and all that. I mean, at the end of the day, that's going to be the discussion, is kind of our takes on what's happening, developments that are rolling out, because there are things that aren't perfect about this game, but like you said, it's a game that we still love. And I think to kind of put it up like in simple terms, so to say, is it's just that we it's a game worth kind of holding out for, with all the bad things that are happening, I guess. Like with all the things that aren't so great with the game, it's a game worth loving, I guess, to put it
absolutely
in a cheesy way.
Agreed. So
I think somebody on Facebook chat, I'm not sure if it's on Twitch or not, saying that I guess they can't hear me. I don't know.
Oh no, we're good. All that's just
that's from before.
Yeah, that was all that was from before. Yeah. So you're good. Yeah, everything's good. We just had someone saying that they thought former Guardian looked sexier, but
Oh yeah, easily sexiest person on this podcast.
Yeah. Well, he said he thought he would have looked even sexier.
So no argument here. That's the whole reason they invited me. I'm just a stand-in. There was somebody who was much smarter and would contribute a lot more to the conversation, but they wanted me to fill in for my look. So I am here for that. I'm pretty much just going to be nodding this whole time. So
yeah,
smile and wave, boys.
Yeah.
So all right, former Guardian stand-in, why don't you tell us then kind of what? So you, like we mentioned earlier, you're our vanilla D1 vet since launch. So what's been keeping you coming back for the 6 years now that this game has been going on for?
Yeah, my introduction to Destiny was I actually played the beta. I didn't get into the beta. A good friend of mine did, and he told me about it. And I played a couple games, and if I'm not mistaken, the beta was just PvP. And so played a couple rounds of PvP. My background in video game is mostly PvP stuff, past N64 era and things when PvP became a thing. And so I played a lot of Halo and a lot of games like that, and was excited that this was a game made by the creators of Halo, because the gunplay in Halo was at the time second to none. And so he tells me, yeah, this game's coming out, Bungie's making it. It's like Halo, but the movement's more advanced, and you can slide and sprint and all this stuff, and you have abilities and supers and stuff. And so I played a little bit of beta. It sounded awesome. Pre-ordered the thing, played it since day one. I think we even went to I think they did a midnight release at GameStop or whatever, and so we picked up our copies and went back and just played until 4 or 5 a.m. Woke up the next morning and went to college at 9 a.m. or whatever time we had class and stuff. So pretty much was hooked. And there were definitely some ups and downs as far as my I guess attention on Destiny 1. There were times where I kind of put it down, and not necessarily because I decided yeah, I'm done with this game. I would play other stuff or do whatever, and then I would eventually come back because some expansion or DLC would drop, and I would be like, oh my gosh, why did I stop playing this game? And I'd get back into it, and I'd tell my friends about it, and we'd start playing and stuff again. And so to answer your question, what keeps me coming back is really just the gunplay. Again, I'm definitely a PvP player. I enjoy the PvE side of the game. It's very fleshed out for the most part, and there's some engaging and difficult aspects of PvE in certain areas, especially the raids. I don't think you can talk about Destiny PvE without discussing raids. I think that's something that engages a lot of people and brings a lot of people to the game. But the PvP side of it,
we're all delving into that more too now.
Yeah,
PvE side of things.
And I'm sure we'll have a lot of discussions on the raids and kind of the things we like and enjoy most about them and is fun. But I think for me personally, when it comes to things like raiding, what stems, the fun for me that stems from that is the fact that I'm with 5 of my friends, and we're doing something that requires coordination on all of our ends. And that's kind of the same reason I like going into PvP, is I feel like I'm playing with other people, and it's kind of a test of how I can improve myself and my aim and my reaction time and that sort of stuff, and those moments where I outplay somebody, it just kind of gives you that that buzz that makes you want to come back and keep feeling like you're improving and getting better and stuff. And so especially
just flexing on people, then
I love flexing, dude. You know me, the cute guy on the podcast. But
the stand-in for the cute guy.
The stand-in. I'm the cute guy standing in for the not so cute guy.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, it's really just that. And as the game's evolved from when it first started, it's added so many different abilities and play styles and weapons. And I'm an avid user of the bow, and I know it's not common practice for most people to use that because it's not meta and it's not good or whatever. I make it work, and I really enjoy doing it. And so kind of being able to play my own play style, that's what hooked me initially. I mean, like I said, I was excited knowing that it was a game developed by Bungie, who made Halo and all that. But the first thing that sold me on it was, yeah, you can pick what gun you want to use. You can find a gun and equip it, and instead of picking up a plasma pistol that you find on the ground because you ran out of ammo, or a needler or something, you just find ammo for your gun that you're carrying. And I was like, wait, so I can equip a pistol and use nothing but the pistol? And the friend's like, yeah. I was like, I'm in, let's do it. Because I hate that was the one aspect of Halo. It was a cool concept because you're in this war type scene and you gotta use what's available and stuff, but the concept that I could have a loadout and I can have things fleshed out, it really was an RPG element before Bungie even started using the word RPG and talked about having that into their game. They had those elements built in there to where I remember finding back in D1 a scout rifle that dropped. It was a new Monarchy scout rifle that, first off, nobody had. Anybody saw it and they're like, what the heck is that? And I was like, it dropped for me, right? And I found it. It was on the ground. It was purple. I picked it up and it said gun, and I started shooting it. But it was my go-to PvE gun, and it was awesome because it felt so unique to me. And it had Firefly, it had Feeding Frenzy, and then it had, this was back when Explosive Payload was a magazine perk. I had a choice between that or Staggering Rounds. And so depending on what activity I would do, I could use explosive rounds, which were more potent, same as Firefly, for kind of ad clear, or I could go with staggering rounds to just keep a boss or somebody pinned down. And the Firefly just worked amazingly for ad clear too. So it was awesome, and I absolutely loved it. And so there were already these elements of RPG, and it's just progressed even further as the game's gone on. But that aspect really hooked me to the game, is I can play my way. And so when I'm in Crucible with my bow and everybody's making fun of me and shooting me with their spare rations, I can, but I end up top scoring on my team. Like, I feel great about that because I'm using something that I enjoy. Not even necessarily because it's anti-meta or not what other people are using. It's just what I like. And so I can use what I enjoy using, and I can play the game the way I want to play and feel good about it and enjoy it. And so that's what keeps me coming back to Destiny, is the fluidity of the movement, the feel of the game, and knowing that I can play my way, my character, my subclass, my weapons, my loadout all the time. And that's just it's a cool feeling. And there's not a lot of games out there that kind of have that aspect, especially in a first person shooter, kind of scenario. So
you were definitely our resident Hawkeye when it comes to the bow usage. So you come from the days of 2-tap with a thorn and like re-rolling your weapons, and I mean, there's things that I think a lot of people do look at D1 with rose-colored glasses. But what would you say as far as from you saw it from the beginning to now? Has it grown? Has it improved as a game? Because I know there's a lot of D2 players who started D2 and put it down, or came from D1 and at some point along the way put it down. All of us, we've kind of stuck with it, maybe had our hiatuses in between. But overall, I guess just in I don't know, just a couple words, I guess, would you say in general D2 is a better game now and it's grown since D1? Or what would you
100%. I think the reason people look back on Destiny 1, as you say, with rose-colored glasses, or this idea of it being so great, is it was so new. And just like I talk about that scout rifle, the scout rifle itself wasn't necessarily anything special. It was cool and unique, and I felt like it belonged to me. And so having that new experience, again, coming from a game like Halo or something where weapons aren't really unique to begin with. You pick up an assault rifle, it's no different than the next guy's assault rifle. And so you already have, perks and aspects of each gun that makes it feel different in this game. But there's also this discovery aspect of, as you're finding new weapons, and I could have that scout rifle and another one could drop, and I'd be curious, do I like this one better? I want to go try it out. So I think Destiny 1...
To answer your question, no, not anymore. The scout rifle's not better.
No, it's not.
Regardless, whatever.
Rifles are in a terrible position right now.
But I think that's why people like Destiny 1 so much, is it was new, it was fresh, and Destiny 2.
Well, former Guardian, I think that's why people come back to Destiny. No matter what. Like, even I think like a year ago around this time, I took a long break from Destiny 2. Probably right around Season of the Drifter. Dude, like come on, let's be honest. That almost everyone left D2, and I didn't come back until probably like towards the end of Season of Opulence. Right before Shadowkeep came out then. So I think it's good that way. I think it's good that once you in this like area where you're feeling like, oh man, there's just so many things to do, like I just can't do it. That's right, man. Just take a break from it. Like Destiny. That's why this is why I love Destiny, where like you can take a break and come back, and because there's a feel to Destiny that no other games will probably bring you. Like, disregard all the stuff that's happening right now with certain topics like trials and stuff like that. Like, outside of that, like let's look at the PvE side of it. Like kind of what like former Guardian was saying. You can make your own loadout. You can build your own guns. You can pretty much go with what you like and use it. And I think that's amazing. That's why we keep coming back into Destiny, where I'm not a D1 veteran, but like I jumped in around probably taking King and played half of that and then left, and then I came back into probably D2. I started it with like Warmind. And then from then, that's for me when I was like, okay, Destiny 2 is like, Destiny is the game to play because it's so much fun. There's so much to do. There's PvP, there's PvE, there's raids. Like, I mean, there's so many things you can do. And now for me, I don't know, is that a downfall or uphill for Destiny having so many content? But at the same time, like that's overall, that's the best reason why you come back, you know, because there's always something to do in Destiny.
Yeah, it's not you're really not limited. I mean, and especially though, you know, people like you who stepped away from a little bit and come back, it's like I feel like you take off a season or two, and it's like you almost have a brand new game to come back to because there's so much. And that's definitely something that just our group, you know, the three of us, we play together, a couple of other guys that we're friends with as well. The majority of us come from a PvP background, right? Like
hardcore. That's like all we do.
That's kind of it. We're noobs when it comes to raids and strikes. I don't even think I know how to do the strikes anymore, unless they're bugged. Then we'll jump in and do them.
You point and shoot.
But,
like right now.
yeah, with the Nightfall Ordeal being bugged, that's definitely a topic we'll touch on. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, for me, because like we all have lives, like we have, you know, some of us not so gamer a little bit more probably than us two. You know, I'm not like a gamer per se. I don't have all of the consoles. I mean, I play mainly on PC. Started on PlayStation, but I don't play other games. Like in those pauses that we've taken from Destiny, like I'll go play something else. Like I played Breath of the Wild. Every waking moment was Breath of the Wild when I finally picked it up. You know, I didn't find out about The Last of Us until I think end of last year, and so I kind of didn't play Destiny very much while I was blazing through The Last of Us. But we don't really branch out. I mean, at least me, I don't play a ton of games. Like Destiny really just kind of is my game. And the gunplay, obviously, we've talked about kind of the endless amount of things to do. But I definitely think coming back to it to just better a skill. And yeah, it's a game, right? I mean, I don't know how much you can kind of flip and apply it to your life, but if it's just a thing that for me was challenging, because I don't come from a looter shooter, first person shooter background. Played Halo, played Call of Duty, but I'm much more of an RPG kind of guy. So Destiny was the first. It was the first game that I played with friends. Period, and that's a big one for me. Is why I keep coming back is the friends. And it was the first one that like I got into the PvP is like that's the end game for me is getting better and honing in that skill set. And I'm a scrub. I am so bad at PvP. These two beat me every time if we're in a private match or private lobby doing something messing around. If you ever find me in a rumble match, I'm probably the last half of the leaderboard. Like I'm not good, but that's why I love it so much because like these two dudes kind of know from outside of the game, but this is kind of our chance to come together a couple of times and I hang out with each other. And I mean, if it weren't for the friendship aspect, I'd still play Destiny. Probably not as much just because I do like the PvP and honing in that skill set. But just the fact that you meet tons of people, lasting friendships kind of come from just this game. And that's honestly kind of part of the namesake as well is just the like sometimes I'll be on Destiny and never actually play just because we're sitting in the tower just talking or whatever, just hanging out. That's what I'm here for.
Half the friends we play with, Gamer knows personally, and we met them because they also play Destiny, and so you know we were able to get enough people together to start doing things like raids as of about 2 months ago or so. And at least for me, I think for you guys too, that was kind of the first time I really got into raiding. The only raid I did in Destiny 1 was Vault of Glass. For those who did play Year 1 Destiny 1, you could cheese him and knock him off the platform and he'd die with a couple solar grenades. So we did that once or twice. Got my buddy got the chatter white whatever shader that everyone in the world wanted. I got the dumb auto rifle that sucked. But I had something from this. The only thing I ever got from a raid in Destiny 1. So it really has fostered friendships, not only amongst us who kind of knew each other, you know, beforehand, but we've also met and had friends meet each other because of the game. And that's a really cool concept that, you know, gaming can bring people together like that. So I think that's definitely an aspect of why we play it too. It fosters friendships 100%.
Like hardcore. And going off that, like, I mean, all I've done was PvP stuff, you know, since this game. Like every time we would try to start a raid, like it's so hard to get. Like we need one more person, we need two. So half the time, the raids we would do, we would either 4-man them or 5-man them. We would never have a full team. But so that's what we were. That's what we were always stuck with. Like yeah, like Last Wish. We know we can do 4-man all the way up to Morgan, like hardcore, without even dying, because that's how many times we've done it. But well, what I'm getting at, but that's also the cool part about Destiny. You know, it's that you get to meet other people, other clans and stuff. You know, shout out to Devil Prodigy, dude. Like, he and his clan, like I posted something on Facebook and he like took me in and he like taught me all the raids and stuff. Like that's like the cool part about Destiny is like the community is always willing to help. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's some part of the community that can be toxic, but we're not going to talk about that. But like there's a really cool side of the community where they'll be willing to help you and willing to teach you. You just got to find the right one. You know, I think that's kind of where it lays down to. You know, I've been enjoying a lot the last couple of seasons. I know last season everybody was kind of like in a pinch, like, oh man, this season's like sucks. Like even this season people are getting in like that. But like not for me. Like we like even for us, like we've been rating a lot more. We've been doing a lot more content than we usually do. So that's what I think is like so cool about Destiny as well, is that you got your friends here with you. You got people you can meet, that you can play with, that you don't even know each other, but like, yeah, you like create this like friendship, this bond, and they're like 1,000 miles away from you. And that's like really, really cool.
Well, I think the GCX event that just happened recently is a prime example of that. I think the Destiny community alone, it really, you know, it does a lot. And I think, you know, there you can find toxic people. Yeah, you can find toxic people anywhere in the gaming community.
That's true. Any game you can find them.
I mean, it's just a factor of playing something online.
Don't like Disneyland. Like, come on.
Yeah, and you shouldn't trust anyone who doesn't like Disneyland. But yeah, like I mean, Bungie's stream alone for that event raised over $800,000 for St. Jude. Like that's amazing. And you know, to play a game made by people that you know have that kind of integrity, to take their time, like people who have high positions in that corporation take time to be part of an event that was created by people in the community and use it for a positive influence to, you know, be able to donate to charity and have that kind of impact on people and kids specifically is just it's amazing. So
do you know how you guys know how many people play this game across all the everything, Xbox, PlayStation, Stadia, PC?
Oh man, not on the top of my head. It shouldn't be like over. I don't want to give some stupid number, and I'm like hella wrong.
The entire world,
the entire world, PC, Xbox, and Xbox and PlayStation.
Are we millions?
If I'm not mistaken, which I definitely could be, when Bungie did the live stream to announce the next upcoming years and things, I'm pretty sure they were at like 10 million people on the live stream. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I'm going off of memory.
That's got to be a combo of people that play Destiny daily, you know, weekly at least, who are in it and we know, and it's got to be people who are like, oh, I played Destiny back when, I'm interested in so that's got to be a mix. But I mean, if it's
at any given time connected, I would imagine close to 1 million, but I don't know off the top of my head. I just know that it's vastly popular, and you get that many people tuning into a stream about the game. I think.
Well, not even that, dude. But like when they did the live event with the Almighty, like so many people were on there. Like even people that haven't played in a long time have come back just to see that event too. So that just shows you how strong the community can be.
Even though it was kind of like watching water boil for a while, I think it was a great event. Could have been shortened a little bit
on an electric stove,
but the spiral range. But even things like that, like I think this kind of goes back to what we were saying earlier. Is Destiny, this Bungie in a lot of ways just does a fresh take on what can we do with a video game, and that's where I'm not overly critical of them at all. There are some things that I really, really don't appreciate. But there is you have to give it to them when they try things like that. Like, how many millions of people were tuned in or watching streams or in the game or sitting in the tower or whatever it was. But I guess the reason why I ask is because I was actually really surprised when they had those milestones set for however many thousands or millions or whatever that was going to be donated, and then they had kind of the prize associated with it. I was surprised to see how quickly people were hitting those milestones. Like, this isn't a game that like 100,000 people play, and like, you know, these charity events come away with lots of money because there's so many people playing this game. And that to me was what was incredible. But yeah. Well, I guess, good point in the show. I know we do have a couple of people that are watching us. I don't know. I don't on Twitch. Everybody we can hide behind a screen name, but I mean with Facebook, I guess I don't know first names. Like how should we?
Yeah, that's why a lot of people like don't like Facebook because of that.
I like that you can't. I mean, for those that don't know, I mean, obviously, Not So Gamer, you could speak better to this than I can, but I don't think you can go. You can't click people's names and go find their profiles, right? Like it's not like you're just out there for everybody to see like your name is, but I don't think you can unless you like went back and searched for it. Right?
It's Facebook, man. I'll just do it like that. Okay. You can find anything on Facebook, bro.
It's a social platform.
It's a social platform. You can click anything and find things you don't want to find.
It's the internet, right?
Nice.
Hello, internet.
So, as far as the game goes, so I mean, we're in a pretty cool spot in that Bungie did just announce that they have the next 3 years planned out as far as DLCs go and a storyline. And on top of that, they've implemented a handful of changes with this last season as it's dropped. How are you guys feeling about it? We just got through Iron Banner, this last week, and we're going into a new week with obviously new exotic quests and things that have dropped. But like, what's your guys' take right now? Are there things you guys are chasing? How did you guys enjoy Iron Banner? Like, I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are on kind of the current state and how you're enjoying it.
Okay, so for me, I'll go first, Beard, if you don't mind, just because I stream this and play a little more than you do, and so because you're you have you have kids and stuff like that. Things can get kind of tough, okay, so I'm kind of like in a nutshell here because it's like I'm really excited what Bungie has announced and what Destiny 2's future is going to look like beyond light and even beyond that. No pun intended. But like, I mean, the way things are going for right now, and then the things that are going to happen leading up to it has me worried in certain points. Like, for example, sunsetting weapons, sunsetting armor, like things like that. I'm all for sunsetting. I think sunsetting is a necessity. But at the same time, what worries me about sunsetting is, are we going to have the right perks? Are we going to have newer perks? Are we going to have things that will make me motivated? That's what I'm mostly worried about, is to keep me motivated enough to like go chase a gun. Because for me, if you're going to tell me you're going to sunset, for example, like a spare rations and a mind bender, you're going to sunset those, but then at the same time, you're going to reprint those with nothing new. It's just, oh, hey, here's a new symbol, go chase it, it's going to last a year longer. That's what I'm afraid about, and especially like you're talking about Iron Banner this last week. We had pretty much the same old weapons we've seen, just with a new symbol on it so it can last us longer. So that for me is telling me, oh shoot, do Bungie even have any new weapons for us coming in the next season, or do they even thinking about these newer perks coming out? You know what I mean? So that has me worried a little bit, just because of that. Maybe they were thinking, oh shoot, like what kind of weapons are these guys going to go into next season? Well, we'll just put a new symbol on these Iron Banner weapons, and they can keep using that into the following for a year from now. So those are the things that I'm worried about. Weapon wise is what I'm concerned about, and things like that. But I mean, the content wise though, like I'm having a blast, even though I just kind of like showed my concerns. But like Iron Banner, I played it every day for about 3, 4, 5 hours every day, grinding it. I was trying to get the Fool's Remedy God roll, well, at least my God roll. I couldn't get one. I got a few decent ones. I did get a forwards path. I got a few good rolls on those. So I enjoyed a lot of Iron Banner. I enjoyed a lot. I think I enjoyed this Iron Banner better than any other ones, especially with no skill-based matchmaking. So you would see, I think that was a plus side for Bungie, because especially on this Iron Banner, you probably saw more six stacks than ever because people are like, oh, I can play with my friends now without worrying that like there's like this hardcore guy with like a high KD coming and killing me. You know what I mean? Like people were actually motivated to play with their friends that were higher skill than they were. So like you ran into a lot of six stacks, which I like as a PvP player was really happy to see that, because even if I got mercied, I didn't care because like people were actually playing the game.
I think it was an interesting shift for Bungie to take out skill-based matchmaking and what was like originally, or what's supposedly supposed to be considered a pinnacle PvP activity. I just think there was lots of hiccups and speed bumps this season. Everything from just them disabling the seasonal artifact for your light level and then taking out skill-based matchmaking, and so I think it did kind of take away from like a lot of what Iron Banner is supposed to be. But hands down, definitely enjoyed the banana way more. Connection-based matchmaking. I think just in general, connection, because it's a peer-to-peer server, I think connection-based is just better all around. We're not getting connected, in the same lobby with somebody in Germany and then somebody in Australia, and we're trying to have a good internet connection and shoot each other.
Right.
And so I think that definitely plays a lot into it. I will say, so that was the huge highlight for me, even though I did kind of appreciate the two guns they picked, because like who has a forward path sitting in their vault, right? That they had for, I mean, maybe some weirdo out there has it, but it hasn't been relevant for a long time. And so it was kind of rebranded. I mean, not like reskinned in the sense like, yeah, there's a new shade or whatever, it's a new season, but there were new perks, which I don't know, depending on the platform you play on and your input device, those perks might be better for you or not. Throwing Germany out there, I don't know, just because I know you're watching. But I think I'm okay with refreshing old weapons. Like if we're gonna reskinning and refreshing, I think are different, and it's okay if we refresh a little bit. But getting to your point, I do think that they are probably holding out a little bit. I think the only way to make sunsetting work is there has to be just a mountain of guns that's coming our way in the next season. And so that's probably why they kind of, I don't know, had the manpower to refresh these two guns, which are great. I mean, it's a 600 RPM auto rifle that you can get dynamic sway reduction on. Like, what are we really complaining about? And then a great sidearm too. And so I'm okay with it.
Right. And that's the point where I'm getting at, Beard, was that like, look how popular Iron Banner was this week compared to any other time they were out, because of those two perks and because they were like you could get better random rolls on them, and that those specific perks on those specific weapons made it sexy for people to go out and get them. So that's where Bungie needs to focus on and like be like, okay, coming into Beyond Light, we took away spare rations, but like we're bringing it back, but it's got this perk on it. That would get me more excited to go do the content again. But telling me to go do the same content just so I can put a new symbol on it, that for me won't do it. That for me seems a little like overkill.
So, quick side note, as far as my input on Iron Banner, the other thing that wasn't mentioned is the quest that always comes along with Iron Banner was significantly changed in a much better way.
I would think.
Because the slogfest of go get 20 kills with a fusion rifle, and when you do that, okay, now go get 25 kills with a scout rifle, and then now go get 20 kills with a shotgun.
The rocket launcher with the rocket launcher.
So there wasn't a 4 or 5 step quest. It was one time through, use these two weapons, and they're the two weapons that end up dropping. So it made sense. It was pretty easy to do. I hate being forced to use any kind of loadout because, again, for me, the reason I enjoy the game, and especially when it comes to PvP, is playing my own way. So anytime I'm forced to go outside of what I want to do, it's just not fun for me, and it's a grind.
See, here's a hot take on that though, and this is, and I guess just everybody watching, you'll see that this is kind of the reason why the three of us are in this, is because we don't always agree on everything. This will not be kind of like an echo chamber of just three dudes who just love Destiny and never complain about it. I think what Bungie's getting at is like, don't you kind of think sometimes it's like, hey, try this weapon, like try a scout rifle in PvP.
Nope.
Try it. I mean, everything but the rocket launcher step. I mean,
dude, everybody just ran after heavy. Like they didn't even get zoned during that time. No.
It turned
No,
PvP
like
into
dude, for
Gambit.
forcing someone to play something they don't want to play, like it's just.
So why does that work is really, because I don't like it either, especially with Iron Banner. I don't like being forced into a weapon.
Right.
Why doesn't that work, I guess, is kind of the question.
I mean, as far as why they do it, I think it comes from a it's an RPG game, and you're getting a reward, and so they feel like there has to be something for you to do and complete, and so it's go get kills with this weapon, and it becomes, if you've played any other kind of RPG, it's a lot of talk to this person, run over, do this activity, go back to that person, get to the next step to get the item to deliver to, and I think that's sort of what's going on there. Is there's just, hey, there's, in the past it was armor, right? And so there were 5 steps. Every time you completed a step, you got a piece of armor, so you could then get it from the token system, which is a whole nother conversation. But
that is an episode.
But like, I think that stems from, why they do it. In a sense, they're trying to have you complete something and get a reward for it. As far as, the benefit, I don't think from a player side I don't think people enjoy playing it that way, and that's why I say I think the way that they changed it, I don't think the token system is by any stretch of the imagination a great system.
No, it's not.
And that being said, going through 5 quest steps I think is a worse position to be in than do this one quest and then play Iron Banner as much as you want. We've taken out, skill-based matchmaking, so just go in there, have fun, get the tokens, then you can cash them in and try and get whatever it is you're chasing, whether it's the new weapons, a set of armor, whatever it is you want. I think that was a much better solution. I think that's why you saw a lot more success, is people didn't feel like they were stuck in a grind, especially when it, previous, aside from the fact that you're forced to do these steps, they're potentially in weapons you don't want to use or aren't as familiar with because you may not play with them as often. You're also going up against people in a skill-based match-made setting where power matters. And so if you haven't played a lot of the game, or if you're a strict PvP player and you haven't been grinding out your light, you would get stomped on by people running around shotgun aping while you're trying to get scout rifle kills, and it's very triggering. So I think it was a combination of a lot of things this week that really just made Iron Banner kind of shine this time around. And the only time I got frustrated was when I hopped on my Warlock, because I'm not as familiar. It is my second class, and I do enjoy playing it, but I did good the first round, and then the next 3 games after that, I was kind of just getting rolled because I tried to try out like the new Devour tree that they've recently changed and stuff, and it just wasn't working. And so, but that was me changing things on my own. I wasn't being forced to do anything. I was getting outplayed with stuff I was unfamiliar with, and so overall, it was a great experience for me. So,
but what point did you in any point during Iron Banner and D2 have you ever gone in thinking, I'm going to try out this other subclass?
Never. It was
don't. I think 2 big things that made Iron Banner last season was a slogfest for sure. But I think the fact that the guns that you needed to get the kills with were the same weapon type as the reward, I think that's big.
Yeah.
I think moving forward, it would be cool to see just a specific itemized, here's all the new guns this season, get this many kills with this weapon type for this season, and then you can get
oh my gosh, if
Iron
they
Banner
introduced a bounty system where you could pick up a bounty, get 25 kills with an auto rifle, and it would drop the auto rifle, and you can go pick that bounty back up and farm it that way. Nobody would have any complaints about Iron Banner.
That's what we're here for. Maybe one day, someday, someone at Bungie will hear our very first episode of our podcast, and they'll go, "Hey,
that's a good idea.
We're gonna roll that one out."
We've had this conversation both in game and out game of the main thing that we want as far as changes is specific ways to get the things you want, whether that's a weapon or whether that's a piece of armor. And the RNG side of it, having random rolls and random perks and things drop is better than the locked system we had at the start of D2. That being said, I think there's room for improvement. I think Armor 2.0 is a prime example of the fact that us being able to kind of pick and choose what perks we want on armor makes the game more fun. And if we had coupled with that a way to go out and directly chase specific items, that's what everybody wants. Take spare rations as a prime example. Why does everybody use it? It's a great hand cannon, but there's also a way that you can directly go and get
specific way to go get
Beloved.
it.
Yep.
Beloved as well.
Beloved. All the top weapons. Mindbenders. There's other shotguns that are very similar stat-wise and can roll with quick draw and stuff, and a lot of them came out recently.
Absolutely. I think people like the fact that, like, oh man, where'd you get that? Where'd you get that? Like, where'd you get that weapon? Where'd you get that gear? You know, like, people want that. You know what I mean? So, like, the fact that you can get, oh, you got a spare rations. Where can I get that? Oh, the Reckoning. You grind like five hours of that. You can't get a Reckoning. You gotta keep grinding more and more. You know, like that. That's the part that kind of sucks about it. But the fact that you can get specific loot in specific locations or specific activities is what makes the game enjoyable, I guess, because it sucks now, because I think D1 was a little like that, right, where like you can get a set of armor and it will drop exclusively in certain locations, right? It wasn't like, oh hey look, I got this, you know, cool shader. Oh yeah, where'd you get that? Tess. You know what I mean? Like like, oh look, I got this ornament. Oh yeah, how much money? Where'd you get that? Like 700 silver. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like nowadays, it's like it's either you're buying real money to get your stuff, like to make you look cooler, or like you're just grinding normal activities to getting regular loot that everybody else has. You know, there's nothing exclusive at times, and that is kind of sad. But at the same time, when there is exclusive stuff, or there is specific locations where you can get specific loot, I think that's what everybody like gets turned on about.
Well, and to Bungie's credit, I think they have been doing that a lot lately. Ever since Black Armory, that was the first time where it was like, hey, go grab this bounty, complete it, and you get the hand cannon. Or
hammerhead, random rolls, and dude, I grinded that hammerhead. Well, I was looking for that Fritting Frenzy Rampage, never got it, but
I would love to see some type of reiteration of Black Armory come back to where we can do frames or something specific. I mean, I think how much more likely would we have been to just have sat in Iron Banner if it's like, like every 25 or every 50, maybe, I don't know, however many auto rifle kills you get this drop once you go turn back in the bounty or whatever. Like, I think that's just been one of the things that I think is there's the difference between the overpowered and the overused weapons, and the overused ones are the ones with great rolls that have a streamlined way of getting them. Yeah. And so that needs to be.
And I would imagine Bungie's going in that direction, because again, going back to, Black Armory shortly after was Menagerie, Season of Dawn, this last season,
even the Sundial was great.
That's what I mean. Like there's ever since then, there's been specific ways to get specific things. Now it isn't implemented across the entire game. There's still world drops, and lately there's been a large loot pool for that, and they've reduced it down so that you have a better chance of chasing after the one thing you want. And they've made it so turning in Crucible and Vanguard tokens and things pull from that loot pool too. And so I think they're going in that direction. If we get to the point where everything, including world drops, has that specific avenue to go through getting it, I think would kind of be the pinnacle and ideal situation of, being able to go after exactly what you want. Because there's things in the world drops that I think people would prefer to use, as you said, Beard, versus what's easy to obtain. So we go back to the example of Mindbender's Ambition. There's a specific way to go get that shotgun. There's other shotguns that are very much viable and can compete with it, but it outshone all of them because you could grind it enough to get that perfect loadout to where with, slide shot, opening shot, or the quick draw, snapshot, whatever you wanted to have on there to fit your playstyle, it could overpower some random roll that doesn't have the specific lined up perks to just min-max, range or whatever it is you need to outperform something. So you provide.
It's going to be interesting to see then with this new expansion, new season. That's when we get a massive drop of content. I would actually be really happy. It doesn't even have to be this coming season, but just at some point in Destiny's lifetime, they pull from Black Armory, Menagerie, Sundial. They pull from what worked and then just kind of create more of like a backbone, kind of a structure to the game. That's like, hey, we have this one we have our PvE activities, we have our PvP activities that are core. I'd like to see some type of core game activity that doesn't leave, but it does refresh maybe season to season with like the new weapons, or just refreshing old weapons as they're bringing them back in. Something that doesn't go away, because I get like the idea of like you kind of had to be there for the season to do the seasonal stuff, but I would like to see something like Menagerie is just a part of the game, and the items kind of get, refreshed out or I don't know, refreshed, I guess, kind of like a vendor refresh back from D1. But
so I tend to be an optimist when it comes to this game and think that the game is going to get better and these things that we want are in the works. And for me personally,
there's a lot of benefit of the doubt, but yeah.
Yeah, but so for me personally, the reason I bring this up is because like you're talking about, Beard, like I said, that these direct paths to obtain specific loot isn't implemented in the game as a whole. There's specific activities that do implement that. But I think it's a large project to overtake to be able to put these items in specific locations. That being said, we know that coming next season, they're retiring a lot of locations and destinations. Oh, yeah. And we pretty much know, but all for, if nothing else, definitely expect there to be a very large amount of loot coming in the new season, with it being the start of the new year. But also, for me personally, looking back on Forsaken dropped a lot of weapons. Same thing with Shadowkeep, but Forsaken specifically, you had the where the heck is the spider at? What's that place called?
Tangled Shore.
Tangled Shore weapons. You had Dreaming City weapons. You had raid weapons.
Last Wish.
And then you just had a few other weapons that got thrown into the world loot pool. So
and nobody knew it was good.
That came back. So yeah, nobody knew it was good, and so, but there was such this massive influx of weapons because they announced these new destinations and the new raid, and they had all this stuff that come in, and that was also when the first time they implemented random rolls again in Destiny 2. So knowing that we are getting, and knowing that we're getting a new location, that they're retiring weapons, a lot of them are leaving the pool of available weapons that are going to be relevant power level wise. And I think most people assume that they are going to have a large influx of weapons. Beard mentioned that earlier in the show. So the fact that they're doing that plus taking away a bunch of destinations, I think that there is something in the works to be able to have more specific ways to chase stuff, because they're not having to go back and, okay, these weapons we're going to put in doing these things on IO. IO's not going to be a thing. And so they have a reduced area that they need to cover as far as where loot's coming from, and they can kind of redirect some of that stuff. Again, all speculation at this point, spinfoil hat, whatever. But I just think they're in a position now to where, because they've been doing this, right? Ever since Black Armory, you've had all these moments in which they've had bounties, sundial activity, whatever it is, where you can chase specific loot. I want this breach light. I want the shotgun from this last season that can roll with a Vorpal weapon. Whatever it was that you wanted to get in these past seasons, the seasonal weapons they introduced had a way to go get them. The only thing that was missing it from was the world drops. And because they're taking a lot of locations out of the world in these destinations and reducing that, it's a lot easier to put them in. I mean, they're in a position to be able to implement that with world drops. Whether or not that comes to fruition next season, we'll see. But I think setup-wise, I think they're set to do it for the first time, because that's a big undertaking to take all the other weapons and find some avenue to be able to chase them. But it's half the work now with half the locations. Yeah. So small prediction, I think things will get better in that department. If nothing else, I hope it will. So
definitely. Yeah. Well, as you guys tuning in can see, we definitely have a lot to say in these topics. I think we could have easily branched out and made an episode in and of itself, and that's definitely what we're going to be doing next week. We'll probably touch on a lot of the same things and kind of unpack a little bit more stuff going on this coming week. Obviously, I think the three of us are probably going to jump off and go see if we can get the new exotic, that trace.
I got it already.
Oh, dang it.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. I'm going to call it Rift the Gun.
Dude, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like, it's I put a clip on it on Twitter if you guys want to go check it out.
I saw it.
It was trippy. It tripped me out. It was weird. It's weird. It's cool weird though. It's cool weird. Like, it's cool and weird.
I like that. I like that Bungie's been experimenting with exotics in this way, to where things are just kind of off the walls. I mean, you have 3 functions you can do when you pick up this orb that the trace rifle
creates. An orb from killing somebody. Like, what? How's that?
Dude, it's gnarly, man. Like, I liked. Okay, so it's a little bit of grindy to get it. By the way, it's
you're gonna Sherpa us through the whole thing. That's
yeah. I mean, you get prepared to play some Gambit. Yeah, I know. That's
the G
so
word
dreadful.
On the podcast, guys.
Yeah, we're Gambit haters. So if all you Gambit lovers out there, sorry.
I actually think it's a smart game mode. I think it's impossible for Bungie to balance that game mode when they're already trying to juggle PvE and PvP. And
Oh
so
yeah, and now we
Well,
bring.
hold on. We could talk about Gambit for like hours here. You know, like when it first came out, we thought it was going to be like this is going to be the game mode, and like,
It wasn't.
and it just became so cheesy for me, and that's just why I try to avoid it. And
I think that's the core problem of it though, because when it did first come out, it was like, should you get all the way up to 15 motes in bank, or should you just do 5 or 10, or what's the strat?
Yeah,
Should we have
yeah.
one guy pick up and everybody else just clears ads? Like, there was all this stratagem and concept of
Now it literally doesn't matter because everybody's in there completing bounties, and so win or lose,
It's
not
about
relevant.
It don't matter because you're yeah, exactly. You know, the only thing that part of that like sucks is when people are trying to get like dredging, or people are trying to get like their hush or things like that, where like you
Hush
have to reset your infamy, you know. So it's like, and by the way, infamy takes forever to like get to legend, and by the time you do, there's nothing there. You know, you reset it, you get nothing.
there was
You
a
know,
delirium.
it's not like Crucible where you at least get 10 enhancement cores. You know, like you get nothing.
There
That's
was
why I
a
don't do it
delirium
anymore.
one time, but I got that already, so now
Yeah.
you don't need to do that.
Exactly. You know, I got all the pinnacles from Gambit, so it's like I really don't go there unless I have to.
I will
So-
say before we sign off, I do have a feeling that for as unique of a gun as the Ruinous Effigy is, I think all the functionality between the light attack, the heavy attack, the blocking, I think it might have, who knows, maybe it doesn't. I think it might have something to do with the new raid though. Like it's got to have something in game. Because think of the catalyst too. You do more damage
You
to
do more
stuff
damage. Yeah.
after it's been damaged with the ball, the
And-
purple ball. So
and-
who knows? That's my prediction. I don't know.
And by the way, I got that catalyst doing nothing. Like I grabbed it, I blocked, and then it dropped. I don't know if that's happened to everybody, but that happened to me. Yeah. So
So Bungie wanted to give it away, but they couldn't just give it away, so they had to give.
right. And so it's not like weird like Wither Horde, but it's weird. Like there's an orb, you grab it, you can throw it, you can melee, you can block it. It's cool.
See, Witherhoard is another example of them just kind of going off the walls with exotics. Like,
Yeah.
it's cool having this unique kind of function. When Destiny 1 started out, for the most part, a lot of exotics just like kind of had like 2 perks that couldn't otherwise roll. Kind of, I mean, they were basically ritual weapons that you can only have one of. I mean,
It was kind of just
you look back to like Hardlight.
like in the chamber.
OG Hardlight, all it did, if I'm not mistaken, it had ricochet rounds and it had over penetrating rounds. Like that was its thing. It was like it bounces and goes through things. So you could shoot down a hallway and like ricochet shots on a bunch of thrall. It was like the concept. And then they added a bunch of stuff to it, took stuff away, and you know, we have what we have now. But it's cool seeing them do things like Wither Horde, where it makes a blight on the ground, but if you hit someone directly, it just damages them over time. And so it's like,
And then
it
drops
has-
them.
yeah, and then it
Right.
drops another blight if you kill them. So
All right, real quick. Have you guys seen anything? Does it do anything with those eyes that's been going around? You have to create an orb and slam it at the eyes, or you have to shoot it at the eyes. Have you guys ever seen anything like that?
I've heard people talking about these eyes thing, and I have no idea what they are, and I haven't seen them.
Well, supposedly this trace rifle, you're supposed to shoot at it, but if it's creating orbs, do you like slam it at these things? I just got this trace rifle and then like logged off. I didn't really get to test it as much, so that's why I don't even know what do you do with those eyes. I don't know if you guys.
You just have to kill them, and there's an amount of them somewhere.
Yeah. There's like 30, I think. No, probably more than that. There's like 10 in IO and 10 in like Titan. The 4s are leaving, and then there's like 3 in Whisper, and then there's like a couple in the Prophecy. So there's like, I think they're 40 altogether, 50 altogether. But anyways, I was just throwing it out there because I don't know if anybody has seen footages of all you do is shoot it or what, because it's kind of like the Wish Ender where you shoot those eggs. It's something similar to that.
If it's an eye, I think you just poke it.
No. Yeah, right. No, but don't you see those eyes like are all around everywhere?
I
Yeah.
haven't seen them.
Devil says there's 50.
Yeah, there's 50. Yeah, and Dietz wants a shout out. Hello, Dietz.
All right.
He's asking that question about the eyes, so get it out there.
Good.
I don't think there's any more questions, but just a BTW for everybody out there watching. If the Nightfall ordeal is bugged, So go take advantage
Farm
if
it
you
now.
got. Yeah, all the enemies. I went on there on 1080 right before jumping on here. Did 1080 solo. Got halfway through it by myself. That
In
says a
like a
lot.
few minutes. It's
Like like in 5 minutes, I was halfway through it. Like I
it's
was,
like
we
the
were talking,
whispered
we were getting
quest.
this podcast set up while I was waiting for these two to get on. I just jumped on there for like 5 minutes and got halfway through it because it is bugged right now. So you can do the 1080. Like the enemies there are weak as hell. So just go in there and go to town, man. Go get those ascended shards, free golf balls, man.
I don't know if I speak for everybody on our crew, but I definitely
No.
appreciate it when we find a cheese. And Bungie said that their kind of mishap in coding or whatever that
Wait, you're talking about AFK cheese? I don't know what that is. People keep saying AFK, and I have no idea what that means.
I did it from day one.
I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is, man. I don't know what the hell that is.
Well, good. Well, we definitely want to say thanks to everybody who has tuned in live. Thank you, everybody in the future too, who ends up listening to our podcast or on YouTube or wherever else you end up listening to it. Thanks for taking time out of your evening, if you're here with us right now, or your day. We definitely do appreciate this venture of ours. I mean, it's something that we love. It's a game we love. It's a game we want to see grow, and we appreciate you guys being here with us. Just kind of on our journey. So, Not So Gamer, tell everybody where they can find you. You're kind of our.
All right, awesome. Obviously, hold on. I have an alert went off. Okay, honestly, you guys can follow me here on Twitch at twitch.tv/notsogamer. Also, you can find me on Facebook at notsogamer91. Twitter, same thing, at notsogamer91. I'm posting constantly on Twitter, so if you guys want to follow me there, that's the best way you can see me. I can reach out to you guys a lot easier on there. And both these two streaming services, I'll be streaming here quite a bit.
Awesome. Former Guardian, where can everybody find our show?
You can find us on various podcast locations. The main ones, we will be uploading the video file to YouTube. So if you want to see our ugly mugs and also listen to our stimulating conversation, you can find us on YouTube. But we'll also be uploading to various podcast stations, such as iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Specifically, but also places like Pandora and Google Podcasting and places like that. So definitely tune in. Give us some feedback. Let us know if there's any topics you guys want us to talk about. Mostly, again, we started this just because we carry on conversations about the game and the way it's progressing, and we just kind of wanted to share that conversation with other people and have them tune into it. So if there's things that we aren't talking about that are hot topics, let us know.
Yeah, and you can, on all of the social media platforms, our Facebook page is going to be going up, but you can find us everywhere else at Tower Talk Show. And that's going to do it for us. What do you guys say we jump off of here and actually go play the game for a bit?
Yeah, let's go play. Let's go do some more deals.
Gotta get that trace rifle.
This exotic trace rifle quest. Let's do it.
Cool. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Appreciate it.
See you, everyone.